Hey Capricorn, welcome to Key Wisdom Tarot. My name is Ruth. I'm your Reiki master and teacher, and this is Tiny Dog, of course. And this, my darlings, is our extended reading for this time period, September to October. We'll look at three areas as always: sun, moon, and stars. So the sun, your divine masculine, or your actions, experiences, what's coming towards you in the month of September. Then we'll look at it, he's showing off. Then we'll look at the moon section of your reading, which is everything that's beneath the surface, your hidden emotions, intuition, etc. And then finally the star section of your reading, which is what's coming towards you in the following month. What can we expect in that first week of October? Okay, my darling, let's get started. I like it when he does that. It's like, right, Capricorn, I hope you're listening. Oh, Saturn. I hope you're listening, Capricorn. It's time to show me what you've been learning, Capricorn. It's time to show me what you've been learning, Capricorn. I ain't going to be listening anymore. Capricorn, there ain't no more excuses now. Because we know. We've seen it, haven't we, Capricorn? We've seen it, Capricorn. No more excuses. No more excuses, Capricorn. That is it. I'm a Capricorn, by the way, as you know. No more excuses, Capricorn. It's time to show us all your strength. It's time to show us all what you can do. No more excuses, Capricorn. No more excuses. Oh, Capricorn, hiding your light under a bushel. Hiding your light under a bushel, Capricorn. Hiding your light under a bushel. Capricorn, this is the card for the base of the reading. There you go, Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune, aka the Wheel of Dharma, aka the Wheel of Sacred Teachings. OMG, my beautiful fellow Capricorns, what can I say to this? Card at the base of the reading is the overall energy of this time period, and you know what that means. You don't need me to tell you. You know that this energy is all about our moving forward. The Wheel of Sacred Teaching. Now, hello, Tiny Dog. The Wheel of Sacred Teaching, or the Wheel of Fortune. Now, as I always say, okay, come on, Tiny dear. Okay, the card at the base of the reading is the the Wheel of Fortune. Right, you just want to say, he's not said hello to any of the other signs, have you? You sitting on my knee? Okay, you sit down. Good boy. So, you don't know how happy I am to see this card. You really don't know how happy I am to see this card. We'll move on. I want to move to these and then I'll talk about this card. I've got a lot to say about that card. So we start in some part of our reading with the Five of Pentacles, the Ten of Wands, the Hierophant, and the High Priestess, the number 2. Now, I'm so happy right now for you, Capricorn, for us, Capricorn, because it is now time. This is the energy that I'm getting. This is the beautiful clarity and the peace and the calm abiding that is arising out of this reading. The energy of the Wheel of Fortune is really giving that impetus as well. What this energy represents, as I said, the Wheel of Sacred Teaching or the Wheel of Dharma, these are lessons in our lives that we must overcome, if you will. And once we things that we must learn, fundamental truths that we must learn about the human condition, about who I am, about how I experience my mind, about how I experience emotions, about why I act, why I do the things that I do, about what I do, about who I am, about why I'm here, etc. The specific lessons, if you will. And the Wheel of Fortune represents the moving to the next lesson, the graduation from one lesson to the next lesson. That's what the Wheel of Fortune represents. That's why it represents change. Obviously, we talk about it as change, we talk about it as good fortune, but it shows a change, a real change, a real shift in the experiences that are now coming forward. And that's because karma has been overcome, learning has been gained, wisdom has been gained. And so now we have transmuted that energy, the suffering, the pain, the isolation, the illness, the anguish, the stress, the turmoil, whatever it is that you were experiencing. Obviously, you know there was a blessing there, there was wisdom there. That land that you were in, that place that you were in, there was lessons there. There was things that we needed to pick up. There were things that we needed to experience so that we could realize, so that we could hear, so that we could see, so that we could let go, so that we could release, etc., whatever it was for each of us as individuals. When we see the Wheel of Fortune, that's why next we come into change. Now we come into change. We have the, first of all, so we know that we're changing, we're moving out of this, out of energy, and this is the energy that we're moving out of. And it, you know, I mean, I don't mind the isolation myself. I mean, I'm quite happy to be in isolation, but you know what, it's time, universe, I feel it, I know, you know, retrograde season's over, you know, get on with it, Ruth. But this is where we've been at. You know, Five of Pentacles. Pentacles are energy. So, you know, of course, for me personally, and maybe for you as well, you know, there's a level of comfort that comes with a certain detachment, if you will, from other people, or from the dramas of life, or from the dramas of the family, or the dramas of whatever, the neighbours or whatever. There's a certain it's like we shore up, you shore up your foundations, if you will, in those times. And that's what I'm seeing here for you guys. It's been, you know, there's been a necessity, a need in a way, for you to put energy underground. I feel like it's like storing things up for the winter almost. It's like what the squirrels do when they bury their acorns in the snow. It's as if this time period, with in whatever way you've been isolated or separate, or away from, or not engaging with your friends, your family, your partner, the person you live with, whatever, whoever it is, you know, you've been living together, you're happy, whatever, but you know, you say hi, you know, you speak to your friends, of course, but there's been your focus has been elsewhere. You've been gathering these acorns and burying them in the snow, ready, or in the ground, ready for the winter to come. And this is what it's like. It's like you're ensuring your security by doing this. You've been ensuring your strength and your security by doing this. You've been ensuring your stability by doing this. So even if, and you know that it's not as though you know, I don't know, maybe some of you felt guilty. I haven't felt guilty. Maybe some of you felt guilty, you know, for not being there for that person, or for not being able to give as much time as you would usually to that person, or to that thing, or to that job, or to that whatever, that situation. But you've been shoring yourself up, ready for what's to come, ready for what's to come forward, ready for what's to come next. And there is change coming next, and we see again another change. You know, Five indicates change. Five indicates power, because we decide where we put our energies and efforts, where we need to channel our attention with number five, and that leads to change somewhere else. It leads to things breaking down, being built up again, etc. So this is what number five represents, change in that aspect, because it's about power, about where we channel our power, if that makes sense. So next we have the ten of wands. I'm not surprised I said 10 of pentacles, because I feel that we're going toward that energy as well, to be fair. But anyway, we've got the 10 of wands here. Wand energy is the life force, your chi, your ki. It's literally the force that animates us. So it's not the force that moves us. So it's not feeling excited, or, well, actually, yeah, it can be, to be fair, but it's the acting on it, it's the responding to that, it's the noticing that we feel excited, and jumping up and down because I feel excited, for example. That's wand energy. Or it's the or you know, feeling like I've got to work hard, I've got to put that work in, I've got to keep going. You know, we can keep ourselves busy. This can be keeping ourselves busy. This can be keeping our head down, working hard, nose to the grindstone, you know, putting the work in, putting the effort in. But we're doing that because what it feels like is, it feels like no one can see it. It's like the squirrel, we've been little squirrels over this past 2 months, and we've got so many acorns planted, mate, that you don't have to worry about food, and neither do you, mum, and neither do you, dad, and neither do any of my brothers and sisters, and neither do their kids. But they can't see that. They can't see the acorns because you've buried them so far underground, and you've done it so diligently and so quietly and so proficiently. Then everyone looks at you now. You're like, when you're back with all the parties, and everyone's like, "Where have you been for the last 3 months?" You're like, I've been looking after. I've been looking after you all. I've been securing up our future." And they're like, "Well, where's the evidence of that security? Where's the evidence of that you've been securing up?" And you'd be like, "Listen, I know that's like, don't worry. I've been doing it. I've been doing it." Now they might not believe you because they've not seen me for 3 months. They'll still love you, but yeah, that it's kind of like that energy. It's like no one on above the ground. No one can see anything. Everything looks exactly the same above the ground. But beneath the ground, wow, that is all hidden right there. You've got a stash, a real treasure trove of stuff, wisdom, money, cash, whatever, security, experience, whatever it is. You've got all that there, and that's going to show up not just yourself, not just your security, not just your future, but for those around you, your friends, your family, your loved ones, your children, etc. Okay, so I see, because we see it, what we're moving out of is this energy, but what we had to do was do this. You had to live that. You had to work hard, commit to something. That's what you've been doing. That's what I've been doing, actually, working hard, committing to something. No one can see the results of it. No one can see anything, but now you're out of the perseverance. That's one of the lessons of Dharma. Perseverance, focused perseverance is one of the Dharma, one of the sacred lessons, if you will. And once you persevere, you gain wisdom along the way of persevering. And now you've persevered enough that we've turned the wheel, and now we're on to the next phase. And you ask Ruth, well, what is the next phase, Ruth? Come on, I've been persevering all this time. What's the next phase? Well, like I said to Taurus in their reading, when this card came out there in Taurus's reading, they were happy to see it, believe me, after it. We've got Hierophant here, and I said to Taurus, this is what this energy represents. You can live your truth or somebody else's. You can live your rules or somebody else's. You can live your life or somebody else's. You can live for your reasons or somebody else's. That is basically what the Hierophant represents. And what the beauty of having the second number 5 in here is that's what you have been, that's what you've been doing. That's what you've been working on, the things that you've been doing, the actual acts, how you've been spending your time, literally the things that you've done every single day have allowed you to get to a point where you can answer this question, and not only answer the question, but act on it. So the question of the Hierophant, whose life are you going to live? Whose rules are you going to live by? The institutions, the ones that have been laid out for us, the ones that we've been told, the ones that have been prescribed to us by the society or the organisation that we live in, or the family that we've been brought up in, or the relationship that we've been conditioned in. Are we going to live by those rules, those ideas, that way of living, that way of thinking, that way of believing, that way of existing? Or am I going to live by my own? By not just my own, by what I've learned, by the wisdom that I've learned, what that's taught me. Which one am I going to live by? That's the question of the Hierophant. And actually, for you, for me, we need to absolutely follow our intuition. Now, we've got unity of divine masculine, divine feminine for the earth signs this month, actually, for the earth signs, especially for Virgo, and for us, Capricorn. And we see the unity of the divine masculine and divine feminine here. We have the Hierophant, the high priestess, the divine masculine, divine feminine, the sun and the moon. The sun, the divine masculine, is in front of us, is before us. It lights the way for us. It pulls us forward into the direction that we should be going, tells us where we should be going. The divine feminine is the wind behind us, that supports us from behind. We just feel that gentleness, that gentle encouragement into a certain area. That's our instinct, our intuition, our discernment, our discriminative awareness clicking in when we feel that wind and say, you know what, I need to go in this direction. Yeah. But we have a unity of both those together, you see, here. So the path is lit ahead of us, and we're also being willed by the wind behind us. The divine masculine and divine feminine are in unity. What that means is what we do, what we think we should be doing, and how we feel and where we feel we should be going are in union or in unity which means that we are protected from both the front and the back as we move forward over the next part of the path in the next cycle of learning that we're going to be encountering, yes, in the month of September, but obviously also in the month of, as we enter October as well. So let's now, my darlings, have a look at what's going on beneath the surface for us, what's in our emotional world, what is our divine feminine, and also what might be hidden. And this is exactly what I've just described. This is your divine masculine and your divine feminine, and they are pulling in the same direction and moving us, propelling us forward. So not only do we have that emphasized here in the Hierophant, with the Hierophant and the High Priestess, we have it even further emphasized by the Chariot energy as well. This is the energy of moving forward. Now with number 7, hang on, before I get carried away, we've got the Chariot, we've got the Knight of Wands, we've got the 4 of Cups, and we've got the 3 of Cups. So with the Chariot, the number 7, I've been talking about the number 7 because I was doing some work this morning from my on my meditation, etc., and working with looking in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, or the liberation by hearing in the intermediate states. And the 2 words that I never learned, that I'd never heard of, and I'm an English teacher, was an English teacher for 10 years, so I love my words. I'm a published poet as well, I'm a writer, etc., so I love my words, but I've never known these words before: dissimulation and obfuscation. These 2 words come from a list of 20 here, and these are mental states that we inhabit. So states of our mind, psychological conditions that we are not afflicted with, but that arise in our mind in our lifetimes, obviously, at times in our life. So these are the subsidiary ones. There's the 6 sort of key ones, for example, fundamental ignorance, aversion, doubt, pride, etc. But then there's these 20 other ones. So there's anger, malice, fury, envy, miserliness, dishonesty, deception, arrogance, etc. But these 2, I'd never heard these words, so I looked them up, and then I linked them instantly to the number 7. So we've got dissimulation, which is concealment of one's thoughts, feelings, or character. That's the first definition. Then pretense. And we've got obfuscation, the action of making something obscure, unclear, or unintelligent. I linked that, for me, but these are both linked to the crown chakra at number 7, or I am, I understand. It linked to our higher insight or perception and awareness of ourself, actions, and or our identity. It's about the awareness of our identity, the awareness of ourself, the awareness of our actions. This is what these 2 words, these 2 afflictions in our mind can affect. But it's linked to number 7. These are linked to all number 7. So think about it. It's about authenticity. Okay, it's about what we're trying to do is not do these things. We're trying to recognize when these arise in our minds. So if we try or want to conceal, or feel that we should conceal our character, or feel that we should pretend who we are, or feel that we should conceal our thoughts, if we feel that we try to make things unclear for other people, why are we doing that? Now, we do that because of number 7. We do that because of the balance of our what we feel we should do and what we actually do, our actions and our intuition and our emotions, the balance between those 2 things. This is the thing that the authentic movement forward. I mean, listen, I don't feel any doubt of anything slowing down. I feel movement forward, and I feel a balance between the truth of what we feel, what I want to do, and our actions. I feel those being in alignment. I felt them already before we even saw this, because we've got this wisdom. This means that we've learned something. We've learned important lessons about ourselves, about what we need. And it might be that you have to discuss with your partner, with your boss, with your husband, with your wife, with your whatever, whoever, your family, why it was important to you, to why you felt it was necessary to make these, to work as hard as you've been working privately, separating yourself from the family, separating yourself from the whatever, from your partner, whatever. You maybe want to explain come September why you felt the need to do that, why you felt the need to work that way, why you felt the need to shore up that security, and to bury all those acorns for the security of all of you. Why did you feel the need to do that? Because what we see here is you're being asked really to the way that you move forward is truthfully, because the learning that you've gained throughout this last 2 months, 3 months, is the thing that's going to now has showed you the truth. It's showed you a truth. It's revealed your awareness in some aspect of yourself, in a fundamental aspect of yourself. Your awareness in a fundamental aspect of yourself, or relationship or whatever, has really shifted. That wisdom is set now. So now you, as you move forward, that's the wisdom that you use also. That's like fuel, if you will, helping to propel you forward, helping to propel us forward. Okay. So next we have the Knight of Wands, and again we have movement, we have action, we have the wanting to move, we have the awareness to move, to respond, to react, to notice, you know, my instincts, to notice my intuition, to notice where I'm drawn, where I'm wanting to put my energy, where I'm wanting to channel my energy. And hang on, it's loud. It is very loud. The loud word, whoa, there's gonna sorry, hang on a second. This is how it is. I have to just say it as it is. I have to say it as it is. That loud beacon. You will hear it, the sign, you'll hear the noise, you'll see the sign, and you will continue to hear it until you act. This could be, for example, I'm just giving an example because this is what it's loud in my ear like this. So for example, this could be like, random example, right? Random example. This could be like, you know, you have not spoken to this person for a long time, a childhood friend or your mum, or you've not spoken to him or her for a very, very long time. You've not thought about this person for a very long time. You didn't consider that you would think about them or whatever. But now, suddenly, in your head, you wake up one morning and it says, ring Paul, or ring Kate. And you think, I've not thought about Paul, or I've not thought about Kate for years. Or if there's any anger or hatred there, whatever, you might think, oh God, there's no word. Oh God, I wonder what they're up to now. Oh God, but in your head, still all day, ring Kate, ring Kate, ring Kate, ring Kate, ring Kate, ring Kate. And I tell you what, that will not go out of your head until you pick up that phone and ring Kate, or do that job, or pick up or apply for that job, or answer that call, or reply to that email, or go on that website, or whatever it is. And it seems random and strange and odd and whatever, but there is a noise, and it's like an alarm going off in your head. Not an actual alarm, but it's loud. This is interesting. You're being asked to follow your instinct 100%, without a shadow of a doubt. There's something, a very specific thing for you, for me, for us all, in this month, in September, where your intuition speaks to you loud and clear, and it will not stop speaking to you until you absolutely act on it. That's what this card represents here in this position right now today. Knight of Wands, you know, we know what it's Lord energy linked to, etc. It's again, it's awareness. All the kings, the queens, etc. They're all related to awareness, shifts in our awareness. There's 100 different levels, not levels, but 100 different aspects to our awareness. In our in Tibetan, traditional Tibetan Buddhism, mindfulness. Okay, there's 100 different of them. They call that the enlightened family, and there's 100 of them, and each of them basically are represented in the tarot by the Knight of Wands, a King of Wands, a Queen, and that's why I always say they're always about levels of change, things that are change, and it's about our awareness that changes. I should say could be representative of. They are for me, so that's why I always talk about the Knights, Kings, pages, etc. being representative of different aspects of changing shifts in our awareness, whether it's related to a conscious awareness of something or whatever. It could be anything, experiential awareness, whatever. But anyway, but in this instance, I do see it as what I said. It's that loud alarm. This is intuition. This is acting on your intuition, and there's an uncertainty in a sense of like, well, it seems silly. I've not spoken to Kate for years and years and years, or I've not spoken to Mum for years and years and years, or I don't even like him or her anymore, or whatever it is. Or I don't even want to move to Canada, or whatever it is. But you will not, until you go on that website, ring that person, do that job application, whatever it is. This is an alarm, and it's not going to go off this month until you absolutely listen to it and do it. And you might feel uncertain, and you will feel uncertain, but it'll be so loud. Take from loud whatever you will. It will be so loud that you have to do it. You have to follow it. You have to go with it. You have to do what, ring the person, or do the job, or go on that website, or watch that film, or listen to that song, or whatever. Reach out to that, but you're going to have to do it. So listen to your intuition. We next have the Four of Cups, and we've got the Four of Cups, and the Three of Cups, I should say. Now, the Four of Cups is a card: foundations, structures. Number 4 is about structures. Number 4 is about where we come from. So for this instance, it's really about our emotional structures, or the emanation. Where do they emanate from? Why do I have this idea? Why do I perceive my emotions in this way? Why have I perceived things in this way in the past? Because I feel like this is the past, and I feel like it's about thinking back to the past. We have Capricorn, we're Capricorns, aren't we? So there's Chiron, the wounded warrior, the wounded healer, Chiron. Well, it's not an asteroid anymore, but anyway, Chiron is currently moving retro in Capricorn, and it was really funny because I hadn't even looked at any astrology for a long time. I hadn't looked at any, but I picked up my phone, and my phone just literally clicked on one of the icons, and it opened up the astrology page, and I thought, well, I'm gonna have to. So I scrolled down to the date that it was today, and when I looked on it, and sure enough, Chiron had just gone retrograde in what's called in Capricorn, and Saturn was just about to enter Capricorn or whatever that day, or the next day, or whatever. And I thought, oh my, and it was like that. It was like I knew instantly that I had to click on it. I knew instantly that it was important. I knew instantly it was significant. That transit's significant for the Capricorns, and I knew instantly that, because I knew how I'd been feeling, obviously, and what I'd been experiencing, I should say. I knew what I'd been experiencing myself mindfully over the last couple of days, or as it led up to that day. And I understood instantly that the significance of Chiron in retrograde in Capricorn, that we are looking at our own wounds, looking at our own, around the time, it was last week, and but I feel a similar vibe. It's as if looking at your own wounds. It's as if that you built it's like I feel like grafted, that's the word I want to use, grafted. It's like grafting on, trees, and they graft, the roots to the root ball to the stem, whatever, they put two different trees together, or two different plants together, or two parts of a plant, two parts of a plant together, yeah, to graft it on. And I don't know why I'm telling you that, but I feel like in a sense it's kind of what I feel is like there's been a weak spot. That would be the weak spot, the graft, okay? That would be the weak spot, if you will. So if you were like trying to grow another rose off this rose, whatever, so you've got a mixed rose bush, I don't know if you can even do that, but you can probably do that. That would be the weak point where they're connected, right? It's like, this is the weak point. There's a weak point. There's a weak point in your emotional structure. There's a weak point in mine also, a weak point. But what I'm seeing is that there has been a weak point. What I see is there has been a weak point, and what I see is the weak point's been identified, or the weak point is identified during the month of September. That's what I feel. That's what this is. It's identifying a weak point in your emotional structure. Is identifying, and for me, to be honest, that was a weak point. Not a weak point, but that the word weak point, so I have to say that how it comes up. That for me, when I read that this morning, I was like, oh my word. I was like, oh my word, man. I was good. That was a weak point for me. I did not, what was a weak point, I suppose, or whatever, was not recognizing the concealment of one's thoughts, feelings, or character is dissonant. like not recognizing, not actually acknowledging to myself that actually doing that, concealing yourself, or feeling the need to conceal yourself, but not just feeling the need to conceal yourself, actually to conceal yourself, to think that that's okay to do. I mean, how weird. Do you not think that's so strange? That we actually prefer to conceal, like we think that concealment of self is how we should be. Like, don't be who you are in front of people. Like, don't show who you are. Don't express yourself. Like, it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe it's a British thing, stiff upper lip and all that. Maybe it's, I don't know actually, because you know, let me say, I know about my Nigerian heritage. You know what I mean? I tell you what, I mean, imagine having me family. You can't talk about stuff. I mean, it didn't last for long. You know, as I got older, I have to talk, and I have to express to my family. But maybe it is a British thing, the conceal, you know. But to actually not recognise, and I only recognised it when I actually looked up this word dissimulation today. To actually not recognise before now that to dissimulate, to actually conceal your thoughts and to conceal your feelings is actually a dissonant mental state. It's actually something that we're afflicted from or afflicted by, that we need to heal from, that we need to detach from. How bizarre. Like that. So that for me would be my weak point, that I didn't recognise. Because, and as I said, it might be British culture, you know, we're all told, you know, you don't tell everyone, you don't show everyone, you don't air your dirty laundry, as if to express how you feel is dirty laundry, or as if to express how you feel is somehow like it's a bad thing. It's so, do you not think that's bizarre? I think that is so weird in my head now when I sit here in front of you thinking, that is what I thought, that sort of bewilderment, that it's more acceptable and more, it's more wanted, if you will, more desired to be able to conceal who we really are than it is to actually be who we really are. Like, I find that so bizarre. Anyway, so for me, that would be what it's that type of, you know, I don't want to say shift in awareness, because it's not a shift in awareness. It's kind of recognition of something, and it is something that it's in an instant it changes you, because that's how I felt today, realizing that it kind of like, oh my god, the fact that the way that I live, the way that I've been taught to live by the society that I, just by virtue that I grew up and born here and everything, and the experiences that I've had, realizing that that's actually dissonant, that's actually a dissonant mental state. You know, that's actually something that we should try to evolve out of, as opposed to do it instantly. Having that realization and the shift that comes, the liberation and the expansion. Number 3 is about expansion, expanding horizons, expanding knowledge, etc., expanding wisdom, expanding what we hear, etc., expanding what we experience, expanding our reality, expanding our access to the ultimate nature of reality, being able to recognize the ultimate nature of reality. That's what number 3 represents, all those things. And it's as if you have that thought, just like I had this morning, and instantly that leads to expansion. That's the energy that we're moving through. So what's happening here is, it's almost like, for, you know what this one means, into actions, feelings, in alignment, move forward, propels you forward. Listen to your intuition, listen to your intuition, listen to your intuition, act on it, act on it, act on it, act on it, act on your intuition, act on what you feel, act on your instinct now, act on your instinct now. This is like realizing, so you act on your instinct because you have to act on your instinct. And this is like realizing, oh my God, I've had these instincts before and I didn't listen to it. This is like, I've had instincts like this before and I didn't listen to them. Why didn't I listen to them? Why didn't I listen to them? And this is like going, oh my God, yes. You realize that you weren't listening to your instincts, and actually listening to your instincts actually propels you forward. That is what happens. That's the story. That's exactly what happens there. That's the story of the month. That's the story of September, of how your awareness is shifting in September. That's what goes on. So really what we're saying is what's propelling us forward is not only our instinct, it's acting on our instinct, it's responding to our instinct, and then realizing that by not doing, and realizing that not doing that before, not following my instinct, was actually something that has held you back, was actually something that has keep us stuck, whatever. But actually, that was a weak spot. That's what you realise, that by not following your instinct or intuition previously, that was a weak spot. That was the weak spot. The graft. That was the weak spot. Now it's no longer a weak spot because you realised it. That's the realisations that we're coming into over this month of September, and I for one can't wait. Okay, let's move on. Finally, I need to move on because these readings are getting so long. We'll move on finally to our final month ahead, which is our final month ahead, October. So this will move ahead to October. So we're getting new opportunities. This is the third time. I think I had it there for no, I had it there for Taurus. Then I had it there for Virgo, and I've had it here for Capricorn. So we're having these new opportunities, new opportunities, but things that, ability to go towards something new, the ability to embrace a new land, a new world, a new place that we are in, a new place now, we're going to a new place, and we're in this new place because, and it's been brought about by our own endeavors, previous endeavors up to this point, up to now. That's what this card is representing here. So anyway, excuse me. Two of Wands, the Moon card, Ace of Cups, Three of Swords. Now, Three of Swords was on the bottom of the deck when I was preparing for our reading before I turned the camera on. Okay, so these are the energies that we've got. So again, I'm seeing what I'm seeing is very similar in a sense of a realization, coming into a realization, an emotional realization, but one that's been afflicting our I just had a really quick thought then about my own personal life. Anyway, so we're having a realization. It's gonna be for us. We're gonna do. We might have to ask for Vajra family. This is Vajra. He's one Vajra family, so he's one of the enlightened families. Like I said, there's 100 of them, and the Vajra family is one. Well, anyway, I'll be here all day. Anyway, so we've got the Three of Swords here, and this card I just really want to just come to just instantly because it just what I'm seeing here, like the oh bless. The you need to let it out. You need to let it out. And this is what I'm feeling, the pain. And it's not the pain, it's the acknowledgement, the conscious acknowledgement of the pain that was already caused. This is already in the past. When we see the Three of Swords, we're already being afflicted by an event that's happened that has sort of damaged our heart space, if you will, that's maybe limited our ability to show that compassion or to love like we want to love, or to be free with our hearts, and something that's potentially limited that in the past. This is the recognition that something has limited that affliction actually exists within you. So this is realizing the impact maybe of the brutality of the past relationship, the real truth of how, and I'm one of those people, I'm a very nice. I'm a very nice person, me. So even to people potentially who other people may perceive as, or people might say, why are you being nice to that person? I'm just a nice person because we all suffer. So, we should just all be nice to each other. I don't see everyone suffers. I don't know. Don't matter how much money you've got, or, how good looking you are, or whatever, like how much you have got going for you. We all suffer, every single one of us, every single day. So, we should just be nice to each other. I think we should just be nicer to each other and just love each other more and just look after each other more. But anyway, that's just how I am. But this is like, so me, for example, so my ex-boyfriend, he's been, during lockdown, he's been coming over quite a lot to walk the dog, but then he'd come and have a cup of tea, whatever. And you know, he broke up with his partner, so he was very upset. So I was, you know, I mean, just if someone's upset on your freaking doorstep, you don't leave them outside on the doorstep and cry. You know what I mean? You would try to be nice. And, well, I do. That's me, innit? But what this is, I feel now, I can tell you for me, maybe what this might be. What this is like, yeah, I'm nice and stuff, but I'm not with him. And there's a reason I'm not with him. There's many reasons why I'm not with him. And it's not because he's a bad person or whatever, but let's just say that relationship, 6 years, it was too long, 5 years too long. But anyway, no, that's me. I don't mean that. I don't mean that. But anyway, but what I'm saying is, this is like me. So I'm nice to this person, I'm nice to this person, I'm nice to this person, but it's like I don't acknowledge like the actual pain that like that person caused. Now, for me, because I'm like, as I showed you that list of like dissonant mental states, we're afflicted by anger. We all of us experience anger or pride or jealousy or envy or whatever. We all experience these things. They all arise in our lives. All those things arise. So why am I gonna? There's no point me going to that person and being angry at that person, because how is that me being angry at that person? How's that's going to help me stop being angry? Like I have to heal myself. Like I have to realize like what I'm upset about. Like I have to like work through it myself. So I always say like it's not you that can like, they don't upset you, you're upset. Like you upset you. That's what I always say to myself. So I say, well, you know, if I'm feeling that way, if I'm angry, or I'm upset, or if I'm jealous or whatever, then I have to like look at, okay, well, why am I angry? Like, why am I jealous? What have I got to be jealous about? Whatever, how do I feel about myself that triggers me like that, etc., etc. That's how I am. And yet, and I would never blame, I don't blame other people. If I'm sad, I don't say, oh, it's him, you know, she made me sad, or he made me sad, or what he did made me sad. I don't, you know, and yet, actually, people do cause suffering to other people. This is like me acknowledging that, for example, I've just used me as an example. This is like, would be like me acknowledging that, yeah, I might be nice and stuff, but my mum and dad weren't very nice. Well, not my mum and dad, my mum and dad. I don't like to use that as an example, but for example, for mum and dad just came to mind, so I'm going to say it. Someone could say, you know, do you know what? Yeah, you know, I'm a carer for my mum now, for example. So someone could be caring for the mum and dad now. They've given up the job, they're moving with the mum and dad, they care for them, they need them, they're older in their life, whatever. But this is like you realizing that they were terrible, not terrible parents, but they were terrible parents, and they really, how they brought you up was awful for you and for your self-esteem. And this is like you admitting to yourself, that admitting the pain that has been caused. And this is something that, admitting that other people have caused you pain, admitting that, and it's almost like there's a level of compassion which tips over. I was thinking about this yesterday about myself. It's like, you know, sometimes I'm so like just actually like naturally compassionate, where I won't even I was laughing to myself yesterday, so I'm saying I won't even have a thought if I think the thought that I'd have in my head would offend somebody. That's how, do you know what I mean? Like it gets to the point where it's that ridiculous, where you're like, you can't, no one can be that good. I'm like, I'm laughing at myself like, Ruth, like you gotta, like, you can't, no one can live like that, Ruth, like just calm down. I was like, you can't stop yourself from having a thought in case someone would have, who's going to hear this thought, and why would it be, you know what I mean? It's ridiculous to think that you shouldn't think something just in case it offends somebody else. Like, it's your brain, let it think, do you know what I mean? Let your brain think whatever. Anyway, so this is like the realization of previous pain caused, realization of previous pain caused. That's what this is about. I wanted to start there because then we get into the nice, the nice energy, you know. But again, always with swords energy about thought. It's about your consciousness. It's linked to your consciousness. You know, ultimately your mental consciousness. There are, you know, delusional consciousness, groundable consciousness, delusional consciousness, mental consciousness, olfactory consciousness, nose and mouth, tactile consciousness, gustatory consciousness, etc. So we have there's 8 consciousnesses, if you will, 8 different levels of consciousness, and the one that the source energy represents is our mental consciousness. And our mental consciousness, I've said consciousness so many times, our mental consciousness is our thinking, our ability to think, and what we think, and how we think, and why we think, and and all the things that we do think, and our dispositions, and our our points of view, our perspectives, etc. That's all linked to the sword energy. Okay, and number 3 is a number of expansion, as have I talked about number 3? Yeah, number 3 is that expansion, isn't it? So always look at this expansion, this growth in awareness of how we feel, and it's the same in the awareness of how we think. Just like I said here, having that realization of, oh my gosh, like, I didn't listen to my intuition and that's affected me in this way. That's how quick it happens. It's like it really changes things instantly for you, almost like having a realization like that, like, oh my God, I didn't realize that, like, not listening to my intuition was a weak spot. Like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like, it's like it changes things really, really quickly. And it's the same with this. It's the same with this, what's going on as we move into, similar when we move into October. It's like the realization of the pain that has been previously caused is in your conscious mind. You're aware of it now, which is always a good thing. Awareness is the thing that helps us to keep going forward. Two of Wands, as I said, that is the opportunity, the ability to move forward, this is us having created an opportunity for us to move forward, to continue to move forward. This is you having created this opportunity for yourself, and there is now an opportunity for you to move forward as we move into October. And forward into what? Into the unknown. What? Well, into our feelings, yes. Well, we have this behind us, or we have this divine feminine energy pushing us forward, the wind behind us, moving us along, moving us forward. And I feel like there is an emphasis on our intuition. There is an emphasis on our ability to follow our intuition and to respond to it, to hear it when it's speaking to us, and to respond to it, to act on it, to act on our intuition, to act on our emotions. That's what I'm seeing here. Whenever I see the moon card, it is number 18, so that's number 9. So number 9 linked to Hermit, and we know that number 9 is, or maybe you don't know, number 9 is foundational. Well, it's beneath the foundations, it's beneath the ground, beneath, you can't see anything, it's beneath what beneath the surface, and it's the ground of all consciousness, really. The ground of all consciousness is the only consciousness that's undifferentiated for all. So the ground of all consciousness, if you read any Tibetan Buddhist literature, the ground of all consciousness is defined as the place where the imprint of all previous experiences are stored. The imprint of all previous experiences are stored in the ground of all consciousness. That's like the moon energy for me. It's like, and also, I should say, it's undifferentiated for all. So that means that the ground of all consciousness is the same for me as it is for you. So that means that, for example, anger, right? So if someone experiences anger, it's, you experience anger and it's stored in this sea, this ground of all consciousness, the sea. That experience of anger is the same if you go to that sea to look at that anger, and if I go to that sea to look at the anger, it's exactly the same for both of us, okay? And that's the only one. The other 7 consciousnesses, delusional consciousness, and mental consciousness, are different for everybody, because they're made up of our own experiences and what I perceive and how I see, and blah 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 blah, and why I'm here and who I am, and and they're different for all of us, okay? But the ground of all consciousness is exactly the same. So when I say to people know if they're lying, or people know if they've done something wrong, or if they shouldn't do that, or if it's false, or, but everyone knows that it's wrong. So when we had all the Black Lives Matter this year, or Me Too, etc., a few years ago, they know it's wrong. Yeah, people who do those things, who treat people like that, they know it's wrong, because we all know. The ground of all consciousness, that's the moon. The only thing about the moon is it can be quite you can go to try to find one thing out, and you can get lost at sea. You come back, obviously, but you go all over here, there, and everywhere. Whoa, what do they call it? I can't. There's a word that we use in mindfulness. I can't remember it, but anyway. So we go, all around the houses, and we could end up finding out new things, finding out old things, looking at new things, looking at old things, looking at things we didn't know there. But we have access to it all when we see the moon card. We have access to it all. Everything's open. and we obviously get something out of it. We obviously come back with something. So this is like, imagine this is the sea, the ground of all consciousness, and you go with your cup and you put it into that water and you bring something back, and this is what you bring back. And maybe what you bring back is this awareness, like we've talked about, the awareness of the pain that was caused previously. You actually finally acknowledging to yourself, yeah, that person wasn't a good person for me. Like I might blame myself, I might take on responsibility myself, because that's how I learn, and that's how I overcome some of my the thinking that I've been afflicted with. But he was wrong. For example. That could be the thing that you come back with. She was wrong, they were wrong. That could be the thing. Or it could be anything, I don't know, but you come back with something. And Ace of Cups also, I'm speaking quickly because it's getting to 50 minutes and I don't know how long that's going to take to upload. Anyway, so Ace of Cups here, we have this energy of the Ace of Cups. We have this brand new emotional beginning, as you well know. And again, these things all come with new information. They come with new awareness, with new recognition. That's what these things come with. These new beginnings only come with because we now know something, and the only way we can now know something is because we have to sit with where we are right now. I've got to sit here and see and know what this is. I've got to sit here and look at where I'm at and respond to how I'm feeling. I've got to be able to identify that, and then I can act on it. Then I can release what I need to release. Then I can acknowledge what I need to acknowledge. Then I can accept what I need to accept, and then we can start anew. Then we can start in a new place. Then the wheel turns and we start afresh and we start anew. So it could be that, there's Pisces, there's energy here actually. It could be that, this realization is brought about because of, new relationship, a new commitment, or someone from the past coming back, or having a conversation with someone from the past. The moon, the ground of all consciousness, the moon here, that energy here tells me that this is something that you have experience with. So it's not like out of the blue. It's not like the inspiration is here. It's not out of the blue. There's already a relationship or a connection to the thing, the person, the situation that you come into new realization about in the month of October. Okay, my darling, so I'm going to leave it there. Capricorn, I will be back in the next month, so you can watch the next reading, and we'll just see how it's going. But it looks like a really nice month. It feels like a really nice month, and finally moving forward, following our intuition, coming into awareness, and that being really expansive, that being something that's really allowing you to have new experiences, allowing you to gain new wisdom. So who knows what those new experiences will be. There's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of good energy, high energy, but yeah, lots of feeling, realness, tenderness, intimacy, lots of intimacy, whether that's interpersonal, just for you talking to yourself, or whether it's in other ways intimate, family or friends, or your loved ones or lovers or whatever. So yeah, it's a very intimate month actually. And actually Venus is what's going, anyway, I don't know, but anyway, there's a lot of love, a lot of intimacy potential over the next 6 weeks for you, for us all, Capricorn. Okay, my darlings, I will leave it there. Thank you so much for being here. Cool. Don't forget to subscribe, all that stuff, click the bell, and I will see you all again. Oh, don't forget to watch the moon and rising signs, blah blah blah. Okay, I'm sick of talking. All right, lovely to speak to you all. See you all, and I'll see you all again very soon with your brand new readings. Have a wonderful 6 weeks, my darlings. Take care. Bye.